Alcidion will buy Telstra Health's Flow products for $3 million. Joining us to explain, Alcidion Chief Executive Kate Quirk. Kate, welcome back. Good to have you on AusBiz again. For those unfamiliar with what you do there at Alcidion, just explain. It's all about workflows in hospitals and the like.
Yes, in a digital health platform. So it's a technology platform. We consolidate data in healthcare, and we then use that to support the workflows of clinicians, doctors and nurses to deliver more efficient healthcare. We can deploy AI through that platform. We're really focused on better, efficient and safer care for patients.
So the acquisition of Telstra's patient flow suite, why this and what sort of synergies would it bring you?
Well, Alcidion has deep experience in patient flow. It's where we started our journey in the My Precision platform, was building modules that helped with the flow of patients through the healthcare system. We've since built it out to some 16 or 17 modules that now cover a large part of what covers a healthcare hospital system anyway. And so the flow, the key products that we've acquired are the flow products from Telstra Health. Telstra's moving out of that hospital's business in terms of supporting patient flow. They have a market share of around 33 health systems or hospitals using their products. So if you bring that together with Alcidion's expertise, a modern cloud platform, we're giving those customers a future opportunity with a very modern environment, an opportunity to expand beyond just the flow capabilities if they choose to do so. But the important thing is we're bringing across 33 customers. It's revenue, adds to Alcidion's revenue, but really importantly, it's earnings accretive. It's underlying EBITDA of just over $1 million and 31 new customers that Alcidion doesn't have in Australia and New Zealand today.
So, Kate, Alcidion being a leading B2B SaaS company, we know the pressure that SaaS companies have been under, particularly given the AI disruption. You mentioned that a little earlier, how you're using AI. Tell us a little more, and perhaps the opportunities you see rather than perhaps the negatives.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one of the things that we are is a system of record, and I think it's really important to understand in a healthcare environment that's highly regulated, the use of data, the concerns around privacy, but more importantly, understanding how that data is constructed and what it means. You have to have that foundational platform before you can safely deploy AI. So Alcidion has built that data platform. It is well recognized. It is adheres to all the regulatory standards, and it brings data together that can then be used to actually start to look at the opportunities that AI presents us. Now, we're going to be always very careful about the deployment of AI in healthcare. Alcidion has had 2 or 3 of our capabilities already approved by the software as a medical device regulatory bodies, but we're really focused in trying to use AI to improve efficiency, not take the human out of the loop, not take the doctor out of the loop, but look at ways that AI can support them, particularly in those administrative functions, like analysing patient records for particular pieces of detail. Those things can take a lot of time. So using AI right now to increase efficiency in healthcare is what we're focused on.
Kate, you recently released your quarterly activities report. Can you just sum that up for us in terms of perhaps new contract wins, also your guidance at the moment?
Yeah, so it's been a great year. We've continued on the momentum that we had from last financial year. We certainly have signed a number of very significant contracts. Cash flow positive guidance for the year is that we will do revenue, in excess of 50 million. That EBITDA will be in excess of 5, and will, be cash flow positive, at least, if not in excess of what we did in the prior financial year. So the momentum is really continuing, and that's without having completed these acquisitions. In terms of significant contracts, anyone that's following Alcidion will know that we announced a very large preferred provider contract in the UK with University Hospital Sussex, which we expect to sign in this month, and things are travelling well with that. So positive news flow will continue on as well for Alcidion. So we're looking to FY26 being a very, very strong year for Alcidion financially, and continuing that momentum into the next financial year as we start to look at opportunities to expand geographically beyond the 3 countries that we currently operate in.
You mentioned the UK, that important win you've had there. Do you see greater growth in the UK market?
Yes, I mean, it's been steady, very steady growth for us, but North Cumbria was a contract we signed last year that was very significant. It's now worth over $50 million to us Australian. Then following that with the Sussex contract, revenue in the UK accounts for about half of Alcidion's revenue. It is still a very significant opportunity for us, though. We're only really around 15 to 18% penetrated into that market with Miya Precision. So we see the UK as being a very significant growth opportunity for us. Now with this acquisition in Australia, we have a really incredible opportunity, I think, to solidify Alcidion's position with Miya Precision here. And we are looking to new markets, potentially Canada and Middle East, as we move into FY27.
Canada and the Middle East, not the US?
Look, ultimately, I think the US, and I know that we'll ultimately have opportunities in the US. It's been important for us to build a sustainable revenue generating business with strong AAR that is profitable before we started to invest into markets that can be quite challenging, like entering the US. It's a very large, very complex market. What I'd like to see is us move initially into the Canadian market and to use that as a springboard into the US.
And look, you're carrying no debt. That's obviously a positive. You've talked about the growth there. Taking a look at your share price, Kate, though, does remain in the doldrums. What do you see as the likely catalyst to turn that around?
Look, I think if we continue to deliver the way we have, the momentum is building quarter on quarter. I think the announcement, the finally signing of the Sussex contract, which we expect, as I said, in this month, will demonstrate that this is going to be a really good year for Alcidion. I think as we see new countries come on board, shareholders will come back to looking at the stock. The momentum that we have had in the last year or two is undeniable in terms of the actual strength of the financial position of the organisation. And we are in a market segment that is really desperately crying out for technology and ways in which it can deliver to what is a very challenging set of macro conditions that healthcare finds itself in with an ageing population. So I think we're going to see people continue to see healthcare in particular as a great area to invest, and Alcidion is well positioned to deliver on that.